We are in front of an interesting looking house, late 60s Japanese Northwest architecture. That was a real style here, and that's where the estate sale is. The first one I'm headed to this morning, and we're going now. Like the door. All right, we are in the back room. We have a jar of buttons, miscellaneous, $12, cute little doctor satchel style bag. Ooh, it does not open easily though. Homemade girl. Nice view from here. An old electric slide viewer, that could be handy. This is a bean pot, but this is B&M beans. This was a promotional piece done in the 70s. Is this Glow Hill or is this made of wood? It's a wooden one. At first I thought that might be butterscotch Bakelite. $8 each on the raw wood nut dishes, and they have all their things. And people do buy those. But I already have one in stock. Kahana Beach, Maui, Robert Thompson, 1989. $16. Some of the Hawaiian photographers are worth money. We'll look him up. There's a whole bunch of people with his invention. Wish I knew the story. One little Fostoria piece. A whole lot of Princess House. But they want $12 a set. That's not a terrible price. There are some collectors for Princess House. It's a very simple edge. I actually like these kinds of suitcases, and they're only $6 each. I might get those. Looks like Robert Thompson is actually the gentleman of the house. Lots of useful frames that have never been used. A very tweedy, very 80s look. Many polyesters were killed to make this tie. I would be more interested if those were in cellophane. Regular useful stuff. I like the pendant lights. I sell these regularly. Larger size Georgian glasses in the amber, but they're pretty scratched. That high surface you really have to watch on Georgian. The hot pad is fun because it is paisley, very late 60s, early 70s looking. Very pedestrian 1970s furniture though. This set is sold. $75 for all of it. That's a pretty good price. I believe this is Noritake. Yes. Let's see what we have in here. 45 for the whole schmear. Some cute silver plate. Actually nickel silver. These are nice with the shells at the bottom. People do like those. Cranberry glass snifter for $8. That's kind of nice with the drape. I think that would sell. Let's see who did these. Royal Adderley Maple Leaf Tartan. Yes, so these were done for the Canadian market by an English company. And it looks like this family was Canadian originally before they came here. The lamp is fun for $45, very 70s. These are really neat looking, but they're a little chipped, as you can see. Don't know who Gloria was, but they're a very 50s, 60s look. The bird on the left is Italian, but the back of the crest is broken. And this one, 25. Is this Mexican? It may be. The gold is a little loose, and the detail's a little loose to be Italian. I don't think it's a bad piece for the price, though. Well, I think I need a hold bin. All right. Let's see what we have here. This is Imperial, but this is flashed. I like the Katy blue where it's opalescent. $10 on the ashtray in the blue with the water lily. They want $15 for the candles. Be nice to get the whole thing, but can I get $50 for it? I'm not sure. I know I can get this piece though. Some more Fenton here. This is missing a stopper. Blanc de Chine. $6, but the way the crackle stops, I think this is Kanawa. They weren't always as thorough. This one crackles to the top, but it was polished, so it had a stopper at one time. $24 on the Bohemian Tumble Up. $5 on this, which I think is a nice Fenton piece as well. Not so sure about that stopper, although it fits tightly. Okay, we have the Pagoda here too.
That I couldn't grab one of your signs. I drove around forever.
Yeah,
We could have thing on Skyline.
I wish we were low on signs.
I did not see any damage.
Jackson.
Yeah, that's good news. Pilgrim glass, definitely. The avocado color is the tell. $6 on this, probably rainbow glass. These cruets are Avon's Cape Cod pattern. These cruets are Imperial's Cape Cod pattern, not to be mistaken with Avon's, which were red. A little bit of 20th century cloisonne, but early 20th. These are older, they're dark, but they're chipped as well. These are early 1900s Nippon. Oh, big cracks though. These are kind of fun. They look like they're for sake. Be nice to have a whole set. I see the bottle is here. She's $35. She's awfully cute. Heavy too. 1930s, I would say. Otagiri Lotus Garden. Those are from about 1980. This is very thin. There's the other lamp to match. Even the shade's original. Okay, well, I love circular staircases.
Turn your light on, Jesse.
All right, let's see what we've got here. $12 on this piece, but it's got a chip. This one is Japanese. Another India tree. $12. This is a nice older mark. John Maddock and Sons. Many people did India tree. Coalport came out with it in 1802, and it was so popular, lots of people copied. Cute silver plate. Nothing I need to own. These silly hats. They always sell, but they want $6. They are foam front though. If you are enjoying this video like I'm enjoying doing this shopping, well, I'm glad you could come with me, and please hit thumbs up to let YouTube know. And do subscribe and click that bell to be notified of future videos. Then you can go on all of our hunts. Let's see what the cast iron looks like. Watch 25. Round Formica table that the top is going. Let's see what the Carboy runs. It's not a particularly fancy one, and they want 25. Down here, the Sureform plane. A very lightweight one for taking down the roughness. $5 each on these is a pretty good price, especially this older number 220. It's not uncommon. Needs a little cleaning, but that's pretty cheap. More useful stuff. The old Elna machine, I've sold these for about $100. The top of the Fenton fairy lamp. If we have the bottom, $3 is certainly a good price. Empoli bottle is $25. That's not a bad deal. The later version of the You Dream of Genie bottle was $18. Gregorian copper, $4 each with the snuffer. This fairy lamp is Westmoreland, but it's got a chunk out of it. Is this a mug with a cat face? Hanky up. Do not microwave. Hand wash recommended because of the gold. Be Wild. That's not real old, but I'll bet somebody would buy that. Ooh, My next career. A guitar with no strings. The crane's on tile, but that's more recent than I do. I liked this in the picture. I like it in person. It looks like a big paint by number. It has some spots, and it's $75. Christmas all looks newer. Another funky lamp. Nice wooden ironing board. People do buy these. $12, but this one's pretty rattly. A couple of afghans. I kind of like the pattern in this one, but it's very small. These look like pure one from the 70s. A lot of dealers are buying these, but you have to look for condition because that's missing some pieces. More of this early 70s furniture. Canadian totem pole candle. This is an old cup and saucer, a large size, and it is Spode tower. A very good pattern. $6 is not a bad price, but there's a crack in the bottom. $8 on the 1930s aluminum ice bucket, but it's seen better days. Shells, one carved cameo. Oceanside. Bicentennial bowling, okay. Oregon, Yellowstone. Broken pieces for projects. This is German from about 1965. I like this funky head. It's plastic, but it's interesting looking. Baby lock. These are pretty good, and it's got the original box. They usually sell for $125 or so. Somebody got this for $25. That'll be fun to redo. It was antiqued at some point. $22 on the foil silhouette. Some older records here. Some of these could be pretty good. Heathkit, but it needs some repair. Oh, I like this. Old piano shell. Let's see what shape it's in and what pattern we have. Not very strong colors. Seems a bit faded. Well, that came out nicely. I had a feeling that this was such an Asian influence sale that nobody would buy the Fenton, and it was all there, and I got it all.
Our next stop could be interesting. We are headed to a sale being held by a dealer. This is their annual garage sale at their house, and they said they're doing it with the neighbors this year, but their idea is to get rid of their old merchandise. Now, do I want another dealer's old merchandise? Maybe. I know when I have my storehouse sale, I sell things and I think, wow, I would buy this if I saw it for this price. But sometimes you got a whole stack of them really cheap, or you're closing out an estate or a consignment for somebody else and you just need to have it go. So there's lots of reasons that dealers liquidate, and sometimes you find good stuff, so we're gonna see.
Funny thing about this sale, they didn't have any pictures. They didn't really list what they're selling. So it makes me wonder if very many people came to this. Well, there's sure a lot of stuff. It's cute, but I think it's pretty new because it has a solar panel. The owl is cute, but it's got a chip. This is a free box. Well, I think that's been rated. Oh, my housemate might like these for her yard. This is kind of a fun screen. Let's see how much this is. $50. It's big. Old sewing basket for $10. Not a bad price. $20 on that lithograph with the children in the back. Oh, it looks like it's a yard long. That might be of interest. Maud Humphrey, she was very well known as a children's illustrator in 1903. Butterfly Time, but the question is this a reproduction? Because they did do repros of these. Back in the day, I think the dot pattern would have been more pronounced, so I think this is a repro. Dollar table. Well, $1 is always a nice price to pay. A good clock entered if you had a clock that needed it. That's just the case. This seems to be some sort of a razor sharpening strop. Yes. Badger Emerson's elastic razor strop from about 1900. I mean, the case is worn, but for $1. I think some shaving collector would probably like that. I have plenty of airline card decks right now. These are probably Hull China, yes, from before 1969 because they have the round mark when Irish coffees were first starting to be a big thing. That is not bad. 45 on the dress form, not bad either. And yes, I see the hat with the netting. These look like Miss America pattern in the milk glass. These are newer than they look. This is the $2 table. Certainly a good price on the little Hazel Atlas mixing bowl. I might have to take that. These are thick and heavy, and they're by Spode. $2 each is certainly a good price on those. Are they different patterns? Yes, they are. Castle, yes, one of their most famous. Oh, $2 on the little Rathskeller. Let's see what condition this is in. Minneapolis souvenir from the 50s. Well, that's certainly a good enough condition for $2. And now a $3 table. Johnson Brothers Castles. Old Britain Castles. Cute little Chinese sewing boxes. Again, the prices are just so cheap. It's not that these are not common enough, but they have some age.
Hello?
There's the old coin. This one's shedding a little bit.
It came up. I don't know why.
Corningware with the original tag, except these are Fire King. I thought so. That might go with this. With this just plain white. Salt box with the rope pattern is kind of cute. This looks like a Japanese piece again. 1930s mark. Monopoly. I had the old boards. Too bad I didn't have this box of pieces to go with them when I had them to sell. $10 each on windows, not a bad price. 30 on the scale is a good price, but ooh, that repainting is far from the original color, and that would not be easy to take off. Okay, is this one of these Wedgwood big art glass vases? It does not have a signature. Ah, from the bottom of an old clawfoot bathtub. This could be fun to repurpose in some way. U-Gears models, wow. That was a lot of work. I have a friend who has a Dodge Dakota, but he's already got a camper shell. Burl clock right out of the 70s. Ah, the Big Dem Cup. Original version. That is certainly a great price on that. This isn't for sale, but it's very cute. Limited edition United airplane there. $8 each on the mailbox. This is a good price. And we have the big Lazy Susan here, one of the California potteries. Just says made in the USA. Just takes up a lot of room is the only thing. And I don't have a lot of room right now. Classica original. Old water cooler, too bad it's missing its lid. That's interesting. Cream can here for Alpine. Not sure how much that one is. Weeping gold on the bottom. Royal Dalton, Old Charlie, very common, cute though. Bottles, I have a friend in Tri-Cities who collects. See if there's anything different. We see Hires a lot. 7-Up, but you want the one with the woman next to that logo. Suncrest was out of Florida. Cascade Beverage, now that's a little more obscure, from Wenatchee, Washington. I think this is a $3 table. I'll have to look again. Sprouse's Beverage. Not sure where that was from. Knee High. Kind of worn around there. You can see it was used a lot. They did reuse these back in the day. Dr. Pepper. Ah, we have some Dr. Pepper fans in our midst. Royal Crown. Snowy Peak is another thing that's a little more unusual. Bottled for Western States Grocery. Cookbooks. The Betty Crocker is the collectible one, but it's not in good shape. Ah, Quint calendars in frames. That one's a little damaged. So is that one, unfortunately. Okay, and then this guy's 25. little chewed in a few places. He has the look of Woodco, but he's split in a way that I don't think they would have done, because they would have cured things better.
This one is in the city of Puyallup, another one of those Native American names that you only know how to say if you live in a place long enough. And yes, that big mountain is omnipresent here. When we turned to get to that sale, I noticed we were very close to the Value Village. So let's do the trifecta. We've got garage sales, estate sales, and thrift stores in this one. And we'll see which one has the best deals. We also have a church rummage sale to get to. I have never been in the Puyallup Value Village before, and that's partly because my friend Cheryl lives here, and she comes here every day and does nothing but fabric. So I won't bother with the fabric in this one because she's already been here. But the donations are coming fast, so let's see what they've got. $120 on this. I used to buy these and get $500 for them all the time, but people are not wanting this form as much as they used to. It's really very convenient though, because you get lots of desk area with lots of storage, and then your display. Wow, this is cheap, $50. This is a fake keyhole. Let's see if we can get a feel for the age. I think this is a later production. That's the reason for the price, even though it has the candle stands. Yes, and wooden plugs to cover the screw. Early 70s desk in that quote-unquote French provincial style for $21. That looks like something that could be worth some money. It's a little damaged though. This is a good retrospective that would sell. See you in Seattle. This one's $5.49, but I could definitely get $15 for it easily. After all, it was $40 new. Handbook for genealogists, I'm sure that could be useful to someone. Do you want a recipe that involves Jell-O and Velveeta? I'm sure this is fun too. And there's the best of sewing with Nancy. I know that she's gone now, and apparently she was quite talented, and there are customers for these. My friend looks for linen, but she doesn't really look at scarves. So let's see if we can see anything that pops out and might be older, maybe Vera or Tamas Keefe or someone like that. So far I don't see any, and I don't see any foam fronts on this hat rack. Wow, if you need a Barbie in a bag, they have a few. Star Wars all appear to be fairly recent. There's the Incredibles as well. Ooh, Seattle World's Fair glasses. Seems to be my day for Seattle World's Fair, and it's $6 a piece. I would take any of these that are in good shape. Now, these skinny ones were recrops that were done later for the 50th anniversary. But this one's original. This one is original. That's the building you saw that was under construction in the photo we saw. $5.99. Let's make sure it hasn't been dishwashed. Yep, colors are strong. And there is the Science Center. So I'm going to need a basket. World's Fair in a basket. There were actually two different series of these. One has the solid color backgrounds, the other were satin glass. And each included 8 glasses. Okay, any jewelry that's sold? Not so far. Not so much here either. Some buckles, but those aren't very old either. All right, we have, they're priced individually, but these are Fostoria Century candlesticks, and they actually were meant to sell as a pair originally. It would be $10 for those. And then this is the same blank, but with an edge. I think that's the Navarre edge by Fostoria. For $5 for one. There is money in these. They sell for about $30, but that means online with the shipping it wouldn't be enough. All right, this looks like mostly Christmas. Lenox. American by design. That was a nice way of saying we're going to start making things in China and still charge you $60. I don't know whether we're still doing that anymore. They are bringing a lot of carts out, a bunch of art, a bunch of toys. I'll be looking to see if anything looks old and interesting. I do see a velvet painting down there. Eagle is a good motif, but that's pretty amateur. Let's see if we have any older or interesting fragrances. Oh boy, they're not cheap. And I don't really want to smell like Adam Levine. Oh, they have to have a whole section for these dolls now. And they're so hard to sell.
World's Fair decanter. I sold mine during the 50th anniversary. Got no stopper. Ollie hobby plates from the early 70s. There are buyers for those. They want $5 each. This looks like a Mount St. Helens ash piece. I'm starting to salt away some Mount St. Helens stuff. I was trying to help somebody. Yes, Stan, that was definitely one of the early Mount St. Helens people. I'm trying to put a few things aside. I was helping somebody gather things to write a book, and I think she's abandoned the project, so maybe it's mine. English cups and saucers. $5 on the Royal Stafford Lotus. That's cute. Looks like it has motion to it. I like the way they designed that. Old Royal. They all seem to be $5 each. I would need something a little more exciting. This is an old sterling china piece from very early years of production there in Ohio. Worn on the handle though. A Mexican egg with birds on it. There's our signature. Nope, those are his feet. Arizona. This is made for export. Paperweight, I believe this is going to be a Joe St. Clair, or at least it's based on their designs. But this is Dynasty Galleries, so see, this is a Chinese version, and Dynasty Galleries is a little better. They polish the bottom of their pieces. But if it was St. Clair, it would have their mark in the bottom. Oops. Have to be careful of the Eiffel Tower because that is glass. Someone else chipped it before me, though. I was really looking to see if it was signed by some Scandinavian artist, but it's not. Mickey Mouse Bank from the late 70s, early 80s. Let's look at vases. We are seeing some older things here. Again, Value Village is pretty reliable for having at least something every time you go, at least in Washington State. He's got some Revere ware on that cart. A little worn, though. Console bowl is an Anthony of California. Same company as Freeman McFarlane, and these were done in the gold. And I just sold the birds that would have matched this, but now that I don't have the birds, I guess I don't need the console bowl, even though $4 is a good price. Dinnerware. Well, so far most of this dinnerware looks newer. Wood decor. I always look just in case one of these might say Dansk on the bottom. But I don't see any today. Home decor bags. Well, let's take a look. This is fun. Some sort of a sand timer for eggs. $4 though. If it was by itself. Made in Hong Kong, probably 1970s. Okay, this is an interesting shape that looks 1920s. Yes, 20s or 30s. This is Madigan Sun Tokyo pattern from England. But it does not have the bottom piece. Lots of clear glass, but I do look for certain patterns or Waterford. Not seeing it yet though. Campbellwick 3-part relish. But notice it's starting to turn color because it was left in the sun for a long time. And the older shot glasses, these look older. But look at the design of that cocktail shaker and you realize that it's a retro look, not really an old piece. Wow, somebody let go of their collection of Hall for Lipton's tea. In the blue, and the maroon, and the blue again, and the green, and the yellow, and the maroon again. All marked Lipton's tea from the 1930s. You got them as a premium. If you wanted to start a collection, those prices are good, $7 each. This is plastic, but it is a go along with Royal Albert Old Country Roses from 2002. Made in China. This, I believe, is a false graph pattern. No, I'm sorry, that's right. The Casa Garden Harvest. I always thought that was an attractive pattern from the 80s. Another one of these 1980s mortar and pestles made of marble, probably from Thailand. $8.50. I prefer them when they have higher sides. So if you use the mustache baking mold and you get a hair in it, I guess that makes it look normal. Oh, and right out of the 70s, Vegematic 2. Yes, cost $13 at Ernst way back when. Ernst was a home store around here, actually a garden and hardware store mainly, but they had a houseware section. 1975 Popeil Brothers. Cookware. Now look how different the attachments on this copper bottom piece are. This is copper clad. Not the same quality as Revere. This looks like a piece of Descoware, but it is missing its lid, unfortunately. It's also a little damaged inside. Well, we are definitely living the thrift life today. We've been thrifting, we've been estate sailing, we've been to a garage sale, and now we're going to a church rummage sale. All the different kinds of things that you can do in the thrifting world. We are going to Tacoma Baptist Church, and in the all-purpose building next door is the sale. With these sales, you never know, have they been picked over or did no antique dealers come? It's just a guess. I went to one late in the day, found a $2 pin, spent $20 to have it repaired. It was Sherman, and I made $200 on that one. So I always look at church sales. I think they're newer because they have these round loops for hanging. That's not how they did them back in the 70s. A couple of papyrus paintings over there. Those were very popular in the 70s also, especially when King Tut came here. A little bit of cookware. A few planters. Don't know if we have a lot of housewares here. Prices if you need a bike though. All right, let's go down the aisle with the glassware and other things. These were given out by one of the restaurants in the early 80s. These look like Arco Rock from the 1970s. Cup and saucer here is Limoges. JP Limoges. In the middle of all of this, I see something. This should be Fire King. No, it's a little scratched though. Pyrex Corning, that's right. Paperweight stem, but the doubles are not well controlled. Liberty Blue dinnerware. Well, this particular church sale ended up being a bust for me, but I did see a store that looks kind of interesting on the way in here. It's not far. Let's go while they're open. We are in the Fern Hill area of Tacoma, Washington, and this place is called Hoarder's Attic. That's a promising name for a thrift store, I'm just saying. I had no idea this was here until we drove by to get to the church thrift sale, so maybe this will make up for it. Nice stag handles. Old Paymaster. Lots of Avon. A little bit of Pyrex too. Let's see here. They're making use of all these old display cases people don't use anymore. This is a 1940s American company that did these, and I'm not sure which one. Lecture plates, but we have no call for those. Pretty set here. This looks like Nippon. 19 teens or 20s, but let's make sure of that. Yeah, that's a Morimiya Brothers mark. These are pretty. These are Peony by Syracuse, Onondaga Pottery Company. Half off books. Let's see if there's anything that looks older. Well, this is older. Cavell's. The prices might be a little bit out of date now, but it definitely gives you relative prices of things, including a lot of dolls, royal ducks, furniture, game boards, pottery pitchers, yep, Alamo, Hall, and I believe that one was chefsware, I think. This art book is only 50 cents now, and it talks all about different practices for painting in watercolor in an Asian style. Well, they've got a lot of stuff here, but I don't see a lot that's collectible, even amongst the stuff that's older. Old Husky seat cushion from before they renovated the stadium. Manuals for Datsuns, back when Nissans was called that. Saturns, they're no longer around, but those are not in good condition. Lots of models. The Hallmark playing cards are cool, but I don't know whether this place will be great or a bomb, but we're going to find out. This is Thrift City. There are a few of these. It seems to be a very small regional chain. We're going Thrift City because it's 2 for 1. Interesting, they say better quality up there, so they must sort things a little bit. Old school thrifting. I remember when thrift stores all looked like this. But that does not mean they won't have something that we want.
This could be nice if it had the little dip bowl to go with it and the hanger. Old Libby glass on the bottom. A Viking Georgian tumbler for $5. Here is an extinct false wrath pattern made in the USA. Sometime around 1990. Baker Hawking Royal Ruby, but I have a lot of that already. 60s era Stein. Everybody's dad brought these back from Germany if they were stationed there in the 1960s and 70s. That's why there's so many of them now. Looks like Corningware, but a single attachment, so that's newer. When they have double screws, that's when you're getting back to the age where they're really more desirable. This was probably made by the Weston Glass Company, West Virginia Glass, the same ones that made Blendo. Looks like their shape. Art wall looks like a lot of new stuff. The Florida Boys Quartet. These look Murano, but I saw the vase that came in here with them, and they are Mikasa. This is nicely faceted and newer, but heavy and substantial. I was hoping maybe it was a studio piece, but I think it's just an offshore attempt to look like Sommerso from Italy. That stopper is the giveaway. It's not correct for an Italian piece. A Punk Nutcracker. If you need a copy of Miracle on 34th Street, there's a bunch. Fantasia, Free Willy, multiples of a lot of these. That's why you want to look for ones that are still in the original cellophane, like the ones down here. Then the question is, are they anything of real interest? Touched by an Angel, not so much. Journey of Natty Gant, that was actually a good movie, but obscure enough. I don't think it's going to sell for a lot. The classic early 80s oak entertainment center. The good thing is nowadays you could just put extra shelves in it and it'd still be functional. Nice 1920s or 30s little walnut vanity here. Was a big mirror. Hello, everybody. Ooh, boy. Need to brush my hair. Not sure what this was for. Only $40, though. Such a steal on this old bedroom furniture these days. Dr. Pepper cap, but not a foam front. Okay, this is an Afghan made by Tina Marilla. Very nice. I like that she put her name on it. I have a friend who's doing quilts, and she's starting to put her name on those. Colors are not bad in this. I wonder what the price is. $10, not a bad price, but I still have a number of Afghans. So I'd have to find something with the flower centers or something really unusual, I think, to grab me. So quiet here compared to the big stores, but that's nice because there's no rush. You get to see everything. Hobnail opalescent lamp here. Looks 1960s. I'm not sure who would have done the glass, one of the American companies, but it does not appear to be Fenton. Well, no look at Thrift City today, but I have a feeling they might get stuff once in a while, so if I'm in the area, I'll swing by. Well, we saw some places were better than others, but we have definitely added a few new things to our route because we found a couple of thrift stores I hadn't been to before and had a good time, bought some cool stuff, and now we're on to the next adventure.
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.